So welcome to the next session, next lecture class on the basics of mechanics and flow system with the unit of C18 quality C18 curriculum and State Board of Technical Education. Now let us discuss what we are going to discuss is what is the learning outcomes that need to be. So let us see one by one. Solve the problems on finding the resultant of like, parallel, and unlike, and its line of action. Means finding the resultant. In previous class, we have discussed about the resultant and the location of its line of action of the resultant of like parallel process. Now, in this class, let us discuss about the like parallel process, and we have to let us solve some more problems on this one, like parallel process. Of course, already like parallel is over, so I think some mistake is there. It is already we have something parallel like parallel already it is finished one. Okay, we need to calculate only unlike parallel process, right? And equilibrium conditions. What are the different equilibrium conditions that are to be need to be used in solving the problems? Let us recap what we have discussed. Resultant of force are the single force which produces the same effect as the combined level several forces acting in the system, but is nothing but resultant. And resultant of a parallel process, nothing but it's all the big sum of the forces in the system. And we have discussed about the resultant and its line of action of the like parallel forces. Okay, so like parallel forces. Just a minute, more correction. So this is okay, this to be discussed in this topic. Okay, not at all to be discussed. What is and what is the equilibrium and of course for that condition of what is in by equilibrium? So if equilibrium is nothing, the body is said to be in equilibrium if the resultant force becomes zero. So the equilibrium condition, right? So in that one, let us see what are the different equilibrium conditions that is required to be satisfied to solve some of the problems. The unknowns means like the reactions, etc. Let us discuss first resultant of two unlike parallel process. Right? In previous class, we have solved the like parallel process. Let us discuss unlike parallel process. Right? So, two unlike parallel processes are in this case it are separated by two distance A. Right? So, one is P, another force is Q, and the distance between the two forces is A. Right? Let us say, for example, of course, unlike forces are there in this one. One is sometimes maybe both are equal. If they are both are equal, then that is nothing but a couple. Okay. So in this one, already what is a couple? What is the properties of couple? Already we have discussed. Okay. So that is not other than equal means one may be higher than the other. In this case, this is the case of solving the resultant of two unlike parallel forces having magnitudes are not equal. Okay. So when this magnitudes is equal means that is nothing but a couple. So what is couple is different. These two parallel forces are unlike forces with the different magnitudes will be different. Okay. So in this one having the one different magnitudes. Okay. So if, for example, in this case, let us assume that P is greater than Q, for example, right? The magnitude of resultant means nothing but two unlike when the two parallel forces are like parallel there. What is the resultant? Resultant is sum of all the forces. Nothing but resultant of two like parallel forces. Summation of all forces. Nothing but a resultant of the forces like parallel forces. In the case of unlike parallel forces, the difference in the two forces are there. The difference between two forces is nothing but magnitude, and the direction will be and the direction will be obviously having the along the same sense as your higher force having the higher magnitude. That is the sense. But what is the line of action? Okay, where is the line of action will be? of that resultant. That's we have to let us see how to find out that resultant force and the line of action of the resultant force. Now taking moment of all forces about the point O, which is on the line of action of the force P. Okay. Taking the moment of forces, all forces about the point O, which is on the line of action of the force P. Okay. We are taking the moments about this point O, means in the through which the force P passes. Okay, through which force P passes. If you take the moment, what is the different forces? Then one is two forces, forces acting, and they result. Total three forces are there. Let us see what happens. Algebraic sum of two forces P and Q about O is equal to what? Algebraic sum of two forces. What happens? One is of course first you can if this force is line of action of the force is passing to the point about which we need the moment. In that case, as per your first theorem of moments, that becomes the moment will be zero because the point is lying on the line of action of the force. Okay, the point is lying. The point is nothing but which point? The point about which we are calculating. The point is lying on the line of action of the force. If that is the case, as per your first theorem, that becomes zero. Okay, moment is zero due to that force, not all the forces, due to that force only, right? That is nothing but P into zero. That's what it is. P into zero. What is zero? Zero is nothing but because the point is O and your force is also passing through the point O. In that case, the distance D becomes zero. Means perpendicular distance becomes zero. When the distance is zero, the moment is nothing but force into distance. Obviously, moment becomes zero. That's what is P into zero is equal to zero. And the second force, what is the other force? Q. About the distance, what is the distance between the P and Q? I mean, point O and Q, that is nothing but A. The distance is A. So force is Q, and the distance between the for O and this is A. Okay. So then, what is the moment? In that case, Q into A. Right. So algebraic sum of moment is nothing but Q into A. And what is the direction? So in that one direction is nothing but, let us I will take a point of so it is nothing but it will be one force like this, another force like this. One is in this direction, and this is in this direction. This is P, and this one is Q, right? So, and the distance between these two is A, and this is point O. Okay, so this is point O. This is the point O. So about this point we are calculating. So because this P is passing to this point, so distance becomes zero, right? P into zero. That's why it is becomes total, right? So this total becomes zero. Right. Next one is what is the moment due to Q. So distance is about with this which point we need this point. So what is the which force at a force Q. Q into force is moment is nothing but force into perpendicular distance. So force is Q and perpendicular distance is here. So what is the moment? Q into A. That's what Q into A. Right. So moment is equal to algebraic sum of all moment of two forces. I consider two forces, one becoming zero, other one is QA. That's why it is QA. And what is the direction? I mean, sense of your moment. Sense of moment means about this point. So this force is what? This is rotating like this. This trying to rotate the body like this. So right, if this is the direction means this is a rotation means that is nothing but it is an anti-clockwise direction. So it is an anti. We are giving a sign of anti-clockwise direction. Right. So this is what. Right. So next one is let us go. Next what is let us apply Varignan theorem. Let R acts at a distance of x from A. Right. Let R acts resultant acts at a distance of x from a board. Okay. Let us say this one. Okay, so this is the R at a distance of x from A. Okay. So this is sorry. So this is R. Okay, so this is R. Then that is the R. Then what is the moment about this resultant about this point y is nothing but R into X. Okay. Now let us apply the Varignan theorem. So what is the Varignan theorem? Sum algebraic sum of moments of all forces about a point is equal to moment of force of resultant force about the same point. So both are equal. Okay. So in this case, the resultant is here. Two forces are nothing but this. Algebraic sum of forces is nothing but Q into A, and resultant is nothing but this. So from this one, let us write an equation. Let R acts at a distance of x from O, and moment of R about O is equal to R into x. According to the Weierstrass theorem, that's what we are. Algebraic sum of moments of two forces is equal to moment of resultant. Moment of resultant must be anti-clockwise as that of algebraic sum of moments of two forces. Okay, so anti-clockwise means as it is. Why in this? What is the sentence? Moment of resultant must be anti-clockwise because in the two forces, what is the algebraic sum of two forces? It is creating what type of moment is anti-clockwise moment. That's why the resultant also shall create a anti-clockwise moment. That's what is written here. Okay, the moment of resultant must be anti-clockwise as that of algebraic sum of moment of two forces. As that of means as the two moment algebraic sum of moments is in anti-clockwise, the resultant also must be anti-clockwise direction. If it is in a clockwise direction, means that becomes a equivalent, not resultant, right? So that's why it should both shall be in same direction. That's what the result here. Moment of resultant must be anti-clockwise as that of your algebraic sum of moment of two forces. To have moment R about O as anti-clockwise, R has to act left side of O, as shown in the figure, right? So it is nothing but these are two forces. Okay. So if you take the moment about point O, this is creating an anti-clockwise moment, right? So this one is creating an anti-clockwise moment. If you take this moment about these two forces, this is creating an anti-clockwise moment, right? So about this point, of course, this P does not create any moment here, produce any moment, whereas this produce any moment that is equal to Q into A in what direction? In anti-clockwise direction. Right. Similarly, when this is some of the forces is creating algebraic sum of all the forces creating a moment in anti-clockwise direction, the resultant also must be in resultant moment of resultant must be in anti-clockwise direction. For that one, if this force will be, for example, if you assume that a force will be here, the resultant will be here. Okay, obviously it shall be downwards because P is a maximum. Okay, the downward force shall be downward only because it resultant will have the same direction as your higher magnitude, force of higher magnitude. Force of higher magnitude in we are assumed that P is a higher magnitude. That's why it also will be downward only, right? That is one case. Next, it will be downward only, like this, or like this, or like this. Both will be same, right? So if it is downwards, but what type of moment it creating? So if it is about this point, is creating anti-clockwise moment. Sorry, clockwise moment. But that is a not case. What is our nature of your sum of the algebraic sum of moments? That algebraic sum of all the moments is creating an anti-clockwise moment. This one is Q into A, right? So that's what we are doing. Anti-clockwise moment. When it is anti-clockwise means that the resultant also shall produce an anti-clockwise only, right? That's why it cannot have resultant on this side. Okay, so this is not wrong interpretation. Okay, the resultant will not be on right of the O. Okay, right side of the O. Okay, this side of the O towards the right side of the O. Only it can have towards the left side of the O. That is only a possibility, right? So it let that distance that distance resultant is R acting here, and the distance from which it is already assumed that it is X. Okay. Now apply the Weierstrass theorem. So what is the Weierstrass theorem? So resultant moment. What is the resultant moment? R into X. So R into X is equal to what is the algebraic sum of all the moments of due to forces? Q into A. Right. R into X is equal to Q into A. So what we need? We need the X. Solve for X. X is equal to what? Q by R into A. Q by R into A. Means you know the forces, you know the resultant, you know the distances, you know you find the line of action of the distance of line of action of the resultant force, that is nothing but X. So from which one you can find the X value. Right. Okay. Now let us go to the next one. Anti-clockwise R into X. X is equal to Q into A by R. What is R? P minus Q. So resultant is equal to P minus Q because two unlike parallel forces, unlike parallel. the resultant must be difference of these two. So that's what P minus Q. Magnitude of resultant is equal to P minus Q. Line of action of the result is left side of force P, as because that shall be. Otherwise, it will not create an. If it is on right side, that will create a clockwise movement. Okay, then it's wrong. Your resultant also shall create a anti-clockwise movement. That's why it shall be on the left side of your P. The resistance of QA by P minus Q. Okay, that you have to do. Next, the ratio of distance of P and Q R can be proved in this case as x by x minus a is equal to q by p. Is there something lost here? Okay, x by a, x by x plus a is equal to p. So if you remove this one, if you expand these terms and cross multiply with one, then you will get this equation, right? So what is that equation? X by a is equal to q by p. If you cross multiply the previous equation and solve for it, then you will get this equation. X is equal to x by x plus a is equal to q by p, right? So what is x plus a? So x plus a is nothing but, let us say it is y. The distance is, let us say it is y. Means the distance of resultant from the force q. From the one force it is x, another force it is from y. Okay, that's why it is x plus a is nothing but this is a. This is an x plus a is nothing but y. Okay, so x plus y is equal to. Same thing with the parallel forces, like parallel forces. In the same as previous case also, the like parallel force means in that one also, x by y is equal to q by p. Okay, the same relationship you have derived here also. It means that the distance of your line of action of the resultant is inversely proportional to the forces. That's what it is. Okay. Magnitude of resultant of two unlike parallel forces is the difference of the two forces, and it always acts nearer to the greater force such that its distances from the forces are in the inverse ratio of their magnitudes. Inverse ratio of their magnitude. The distance is inverse ratio, means if it is the magnitude line of action of the resultant is, if it is a smaller force, it is far away, means it is smaller the distance will be the more, and larger the force, distance will be the less. Okay, that's what it is. It's nothing but, I will show you one more diagram. It's nothing but, if you say from this case, if you see this one, the resultant is nearer to what? Nearer to the maximum force. Okay, and it is far away from the smaller force. That's what is nothing but inverse one, inverse ratio, difference of inverse ratio. So for smaller force, it will be near. For larger force, it is in larger distance, far away place. That's why if this is less, it's nothing but, if this is more, this will be the less. If this is less, the distance will be more. Means magnitude will be less, more, distance will be less, and magnitude is less, distance will be more. That's what this xy inverse difference of is called. It's such that it distances from the forces are in the inverse ratio of their magnitudes. Okay, inverse ratio of their magnitude means larger the magnitude, lesser the distance of resultant. Okay, less distance of resultant. Lower, lesser the magnitude, distance will be the larger. That's what is sentence. Okay, now let us see. Uh, However, let us take a numerical problem. So find the resultant and its location with respect to A for the parallel force system as shown in the figure. Right? So say a system of forces, a parallel system, of course, in unlike parallel forces system. So four forces are there. So right. So what is the magnitude? Let us see. It is 15 kilonewtons upward. Two forces are upwards and two forces are downwards. What is our total upward forces magnitude? 15 plus 25, it is 40. And magnitude of forces having downward is nothing but 20 plus 50. Okay, 50, this one is 40. Upward forces are 40, downward forces are 50. Then what is the resultant? It's nothing but algebraic sum of all the forces. So 15, if you assume that 15 as a minus and 20 as a plus, it's nothing but minus 15 plus 20. It's nothing but plus 5. Plus 5 plus 30, 35. Right? 35 plus minus 25. It's nothing but 15. So 10. Right? So what is the magnitude? Magnitude is equal to 10 kilonewtons. That's very simple. Okay, by seeing this itself, you can able to find it. This is only plus and minus. That's all. Nothing else. No distances. Need not consider any distances, because when you are asking for the magnitudes, just only the plus and minus only for the parallel forces or collinear forces. For both cases, only plus and minus only. Okay, no need to consider the distances between the forces. Okay, so only thing is the distances means only that comes when you are calculating the moments. Okay, when you are calculating the forces, resultant force only plus and minus only here. Okay, because they are parallel. Of course, that will be need to be considered plus and minus within different cases, but in the case of parallel forces and collinear forces, both are almost. While calculating the resultant, it will be adding the forces or calculating the difference forces, means it is nothing but algebraic sum of the forces. That's all. Okay, algebraic sum of the forces, it will give the resultant for the parallel forces and collinear forces. In this one, we are discussing about only parallel forces. In this one, so resultant is equal to what? Is nothing but algebraic sum of the all the forces. Okay, and the sense means what is the direction of action of resultant is nothing but that depends on the forces having a different maximum magnitude, means along the one direction the forces will be maximum, along that direction the resultant will act. Okay, so in this case, if you see this, downward force are 50 newtons, upward force are 40 newtons. Obviously the downward force, the resultant will have that towards the downward only, that is nothing but 10 kilonewtons, but distance is unknown. Okay, distance we have to calculate, means where the resultant acts we have to calculate. That's nothing but your, that also can do by, just now we have discussed about the problem about how to calculate the resultant. It's nothing but is using the Varignan's theorem. Very simple. Okay, let us see how to solve the problem. So resultant of all the forces is equal to 20 kilonewtons plus 30 kilonewtons downwards. Okay, 20 kilonewtons downwards plus 30 kilonewtons downwards, minus 15 kilonewtons upwards, 25 kilonewtons upwards. It's nothing but algebraic sum of all the forces. That's all I say. One line. 15 downwards, 40 upwards. But the net force 10 kilonewtons downwards. Okay. Already we have discussed about the, that's what it is. They are put into one place. 20 plus 30 downward, 15 plus 25 upward forces. Difference of these two, that will give us the resultant. Obviously, which direction? It will be in downwards direction. Okay. Diagram, we need to have diagram, because it's difficult to understand. Yeah. So now this is nothing a force system. So now to calculate the distance, means the line of, to know the line of action of the resultant, we need to apply the Varignan's theorem, right? So what is Varignan's theorem? Again and again we are repeating Varignan's theorem so that you can remember easily. Okay, the Varignan's theorem states that the moment of forces about a point of this same the same plane is equal to moment of resultant force. Okay, moment of resultant force about the same point, equal means, of course I did not say the equal term. So moment of forces in the same acting about a point in the same plane is equal to moment of resultant about the same point. Okay, about the same point, that's nothing but resultant. Is nothing but moment of resultant is equal to algebraic sum of moments of all the forces. Very simple. That's nothing but Varignan's theorem. Now let us apply the Varignan's theorem here. Now let us take the moments. Let us take the moments about the point O. Let us take the moments about the point O. Okay. So what is the, where is the point O? So point, sorry, not A, O. It is the point A. Let us take the points A, about which let us calculate the moments. Magnitude of the resultant 10 kilonewton is acting at a distance of 4 meters from the left of. Of course, it's an after resolution. But I want to say that what is the distance? Of course, for that one I need to go back to the previous slides. Yeah. Now let us take the moments of all the forces about the point A. Right. I will take a diagram. So until unless the diagram is there, it is very difficult to calculate the moments. So explain the moments at least. So this is our forces. Two forces are upward forces. One is at here, another one at here, and two forces downward direction. Right. So this is 25 kilonewtons, and this is 15 kilonewtons, and this one is 20, and this one is 30. Now we are calculating the moment about the, so resultant, let us say resultant will act at a distance of x, okay, x from A. So this is nothing but resultant. What is the resultant magnitude? Already we discussed that 30, 50 upwards, downwards, 40 upwards. Difference is nothing but 50 minus 40, 10 kilonewtons. Direction is nothing but downwards. So resultant already we have calculated. Resultant is equal to 10 kilonewtons. Okay, so 10 kilonewtons we have resultant. Right. Now let us take the moment about the point. So resultant, resultant moments about the forces about A. Let us find first moments about the all the forces about the point A. Algebraic sum of moments of all the forces means all the forces is equal to what? Let us go by starting from the one side. So that is nothing but 25. 25 from here to here, that point A. So again, so this is point A. So about this point from here to here, the distance is nothing but 10 kilometers. Sorry, 10 meters. Okay, distance is 10 meters. That is nothing but 25 into 10. Right. Similarly, of course, now let us see the sign also. So about this point, so this is the point about we are taking. About this point, this is creating. About this point means this is creating what type of moment? So it's creating an anti-clockwise moment. So it is an anti-clockwise. Let us take anti-clockwise moment as positive. So anti-clockwise moment as positive. That's why it is plus sign. Right. Next, what is the next force? It is 30 kilonewtons. 30 kilonewton force means it is acting this direction. Right. So it is about this point. It is what is the direction of this one? This movement, something but a so positive. Sorry, no, clockwise direction. So that's why it is clockwise direction. So when you are assume that anti-clockwise is minus, so clockwise shall be anti-clockwise is plus, clockwise shall be minus. That's why which is minus sign here. Right. So minus. Next, what is other force? Other force is 20 newtons. So this 20 newton force again also about this point it is creating a clockwise movement. So that's why it is again minus. Clockwise means minus. What is the distance between these two and this? It's nothing but this is 3 and this one is 5 and this one is 10. Okay. So 25 into 10 minus 30 into 5 and minus 20 into 3. So this is nothing but algebraic sum of moment of all the forces. Okay, moments of forces, moments of all the forces. It's called how much? 25 into 10, 250. 250 minus 150. 250 minus 150, 100. 100 minus 60, 40. 40 kilonewton meter. Why it is? Why you are saying that is an anti-clockwise? Because you got a positive sign. Okay, plus 40 kilonewton meter. What is plus sign? What is the plus sign indicates? What type of movement it is? Anti-clockwise. Plus means anti-clockwise. That's what we are assumed it. Okay. So if you would have assumed it is anti-clockwise as a plus, minus and clockwise as plus, then it will be you might have get a minus sign here. That indicates whatever direction you are assuming is wrong. That's what it indicates minus. Right. In this case, it is we got the positive sign. It is nothing but clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise means plus only. You got a plus means anti-clockwise. If you get a minus means clockwise direction. That's what our sign convention here. Okay. We have took it as a and clockwise as a minus, clockwise as a minus, and anti-clockwise as a plus sign. Okay, that's what we are sign our sign convention. Right. Now you got a positive sign, but it's nothing but anti-clockwise moment. Right. So that's what it indicates. Now you got the algebraic sum of all the forces, algebraic sum of moments of all the forces is equal to 40 kilonewton meter. Now equate this according to our Varignas theorem. Now apply the Varignas theorem. So if what is the Varignas theorem is algebraic sum of moments of all the forces about a point is equal to moment of resultant about a same point. That's what is the algebraic sum of moments. Sorry, Varignas theorem. Now what is the algebraic sum of moments is nothing but 40 kilonewton. So that is nothing but 40 kilonewton. Now equate that to the moment of resultant. Resultant moment means what resultant is, what is the magnitude of resultant? 10. What is the distance from the point A is nothing but x. We are assuming that it is a x. Okay. Now it is nothing but x. X is a distance here. Okay. So it is, that's why it is r into x. This is r is nothing but 10 kilonewtons, and distance is nothing but distance from the x is nothing but distance from the point A, because about which we are calculating the moment. So 10 into x is equal to 40. X is equal to how much? 4 meters, where x is the distance from A. As the resultant is acting downwards, and to get anti-clockwise moment about A, R has to act left side of O. Right? So left side of O. Why it is left side of, why it needs to be left side of O means, again the same explanation is similar to your last one, that is like parallel forces. Okay, so this is nothing but when this is the force direction, you are assuming that this is one force, right, and this is another force. Let us, I will explain once again. So this is another force, this is the upward force. So what is the algebraic sum of all the moments of your forces? Algebraic sum of moments of all the forces is equal to 10 kilonewton meter in anti-clockwise direction. That's what we have calculated. So it's nothing but it is not this one. It is right. Algebraic sum of moments of all the forces is equal to what? 40 kilonewton meter anti-clockwise. 40 kilonewton. Similarly, when the same force, when this is one, what is called, when the resultant also shall create the anti-clockwise moment, then only the body is, it's nothing but it is what is, we are saying that effect will be same, right? So if, for the effect shall be same, the moment also shall be in anti-clockwise. The resultant moment also shall be anti-clockwise. As we are is nothing but already discussed that your algebraic sum of moments is equal to 40 kilonewton meter anti-clockwise direction. Obviously, as per your Varignas theorem state, what is the Varignas theorem? Algebraic sum of all the forces, moments of all the forces is equal to moment of the resultant about the same point. Means if your algebraic sum of forces is nothing but 40, that is in anti-clockwise direction. To equate that one, obviously similarly this side also it shall be 40 kilonewtons. Okay, 40, there shall be 40 kilonewton meter only, right? And it shall also be in anti-clockwise direction, right? So anti-clockwise direction means it will the resultant also should produce a anti-clockwise moment. For that, to produce anti-clockwise moment about this point A, so if your resultant also wants to be, has to be produce an anti-clockwise moment. So for that one, if you keep your resultant here, obviously resultant is our resultant already know that it is downward direction. If if a resultant is, let us say if you assume that it is resultant is here, so about this point it is creating what type of moment? It is creating a clockwise moment. So, okay, so clockwise moment, but as it has to be produced in anti-clockwise only, not clockwise. If you place anywhere on the right of A, it will create only a clockwise moment. But as per our what is called our theorems, it shall produce an anti-clockwise only, right? So for that one, the resultant shall act on the left side of A, okay, to produce the same effect. It shall be, that's why it is, we are assumed that it shall be on the left side of A. Okay, that's what it is. We are assumed the resultant shall act on the left of A and at a distance of x. That's what we are assuming. Okay, so what is the resultant moment of resultant? Already we know the resultant is 10 newtons. 10 kilonewton, 10 newton, sorry, 10 kilonewtons, and the distance is x. About this point A, moment is equal to 10 into x. That's nothing but 10 into x. So 10 into x is equal to 40 kilonewton meter, right? 10 into x. 10 is the force and x is the distance. This is 10 and this is x. About this point, 10 into x, force into perpendicular distance about this point. That is nothing but 40 kilonewton meter. Then x is equal to 40 by 10, right? So if you get it, x is equal to, it will be 40 by 10. So that is equal to 4 meters from the left side, left side of A. That's what we are assuming. From here to here, that will be, distance will be 4 meters. Now we got the line of action of the resultant force. So magnitude of the resultant is 10 kilonewtons, is acting at a distance of 4 meters left of A as shown in this. That's what this is. This is the actual force system. Your resultant shall be at a distance of 4 meters from the from point A. Okay. Then only that body will be, this will, then only it will create a moment equal to moment created by this force. So this is about some of the how to find the resultant and its line of action. Okay, so of unlike parallel forces. Now let us go to the next topic. It is again one more very important topic: equilibrium conditions. So first of all, what is equilibrium? So equilibrium is nothing but, so when a body is set to be in equilibrium, when the resultant forces acting on the body is equal to 0, then only the body is said to be in equilibrium. Okay, means all the forces acting on the body keep the body in equilibrium. Means when it is equilibrium doesn't mean that it shall be at state of rest. Need not be. It can be in any. It can be whether it is moving continuously with uniformly moving, or it can be at rest position. But the body is said to be in equilibrium condition, right? So, but let us discuss about the different equilibrium conditions. So, algebraic sum of all horizontal forces is equal to 0. That the first one condition is, these are very important equations. You have to remember to solve most of the cases. These are what the equations, the fundamental equations to solve unknown forces in the member, any member. These conditions are required. Okay, these are the called equilibrium conditions. Algebraic sum of all horizontal forces is 0. That is nothing but sigma h is equal to 0. It means sum of the right side forces minus sum of the left side forces is equal to 0. Algebraic sum of forces. It's nothing but algebraic sum of horizontal forces. Sum of right side forces minus sum of left side forces is equal to 0. Okay. To a body in equilibrium, this condition has to be satisfied. Okay. Then only the body is said to be in equilibrium. For example, let us take a simple diagram here. So this is on this one that 4 forces are acting. Okay, so 4 forces are acting on this body, right? So F1 is towards the left side, F2 is towards the right side, and F3, F4, F3 is towards the right side, F4 is towards the left side, right? So it means these two forces are pushing the member. Okay, and these F1 and F3 are pulling the member, F2 and F4 are pushing the member. Okay. So to be in equilibrium condition, F1 plus F2 is equal to F3 plus F4. That's what the condition, very simple condition. F2 plus F3 minus F1 plus F4 is equal to 0. Okay, so in other words, F2 plus F3, F2 plus F3 means all the forces which are in this direction towards the right side, that is nothing but what are the towards the right side forces? One is F2 and the other one is F3. That's nothing but all the forces towards the right side. F2 plus F3 minus all the forces acting towards the right side, left side. It's nothing but F1 plus F4. That's nothing but it. This is the condition. Okay, for this condition, this is the equation. Sum of right side forces minus sum of the left side forces. Or another way, you can say in another way also. It is need not be always need not say that only this is the equation correct. You can write in another way. Okay, so F1 shall be equal to F3, means both pulling forces. F2 shall be equal to F4. Okay, or F1 plus F3, that's what it is given. Okay, so F1 plus F2 is equal to F2 plus F4. F1 plus F2 is equal to F3 plus 1. Ultimately, what is nothing but whatever these forces towards the right side forces shall be equal to towards the forces acting in this direction. Both shall be equal. Okay, then the body is in equilibrium condition. Some of the both conditions shall be same. Means if it is total forces are in this direction, if you say that it is 10 kilonewtons, here also this direction, so 10 will be 10 kilonewtons. Then the body is said to be in equilibrium. Right. So this is what a condition. Now let us go to the next condition. A body is said to be in equilibrium if it satisfies the following conditions. That is first condition. The sigma h is equal to 0 is the first condition. Next one is second condition is the algebraic sum of vertical forces is 0. Right. So this one. The other condition, next condition is that the algebraic sum of vertical force is equal to 0. Right. So if you take any algebraic sum means vertical forces means vertical means one can be upwards or downwards. Okay, so all the forces, algebraic sum of forces, vertical means in y direction, along the y direction is equal to 0. Nothing but one can be some forces maybe up, or some of the upward forces is equal to some of the downward forces. Means in a system of forces, there can be supposed to for some forces may act down upwards, some forces may act downwards. Okay, if they are summed up, that's nothing but it's equal to the sum of upward forces is equal to sum of the downward forces. That's what this algebraic sum of vertical forces mean. Sum of upward force equal to sum of downward, or difference of these two forces equal to 0. It shall be. To be in equilibrium condition, it shall be 0. Right. For example, if you take this one, so these two forces and these two forces. Okay, these are acting. This is acting this side. This is acting upwards. So F2 plus F3 is equal to F1 plus F4. The same condition here. Okay, or is equal to F2 plus F3 is equal to F1 plus F4. Both shall be equal. Then only the body shall be in equilibrium condition. Right. That is about second one. Sum of the vertical force equal to. Next one is algebraic sum of moments of all forces about any point is 0. Algebraic sum of moments of all forces, moments of all forces. Algebraic sum of moments of all forces about any point must be 0. Okay, then only if they are equal to 0, then only the body is said to be in equilibrium condition. Okay, that's why these are called equilibrium conditions. All these moments means horizontal forces shall be equal to 0. Algebraic sum of horizontal forces shall be equal to 0. Algebraic sum of vertical forces shall be equal to 0. Sum of this algebraic sum of moments shall be equal to 0. Means all the clockwise moments shall be equal to anti-clockwise moments. That's what it is said. Means that anti-clockwise moments is equal to anti-clockwise moments. Okay. So, for example, if you take this four forces are acting, of course, five forces are acting on this one. So, all these forces, moment created by all these forces about any point, okay, must be equal to 0. Algebraic sum of moments of all these forces about any point must be 0. Either it can be A or B or C or it can be some other point about away from the body. It can be anything, not only on the body, it can be away from the body also. If you provided the distance are known to you, right? That is nothing but sum of the moments is equal to 0. For equilibrium of the body, A, B, C. Okay, the body is there, A, B, C. So sum of the vertical force is equal to 0. That's nothing but F1 plus F2. What are the vertical forces? F1, F2, and F3. These are vertical forces. F1 and F3 are upward forces. F2 is downward forces. If you assume that upward forces are positive, then F1 plus F3 minus F2. That's what it is, sign convention here. Upward forces are positive, downward forces are negative. That's nothing but that's why it equals. Right. So F1 plus the F3 is equal to F2. Means these two forces are to be balanced by the F2 force. Then only body will be in equilibrium along the y direction. Right. Similarly, if you take the sigma h is equal to 0, F4 is equal to F5 because there is no other inclined force are there, only horizontal forces. F4 equal to F5. F4 is equal to F5. Right. If you take some of the moments about zero, about any points, then it is nothing but if you take the moments about all the points, right? Taking moments about a point, which point? A point. Okay, if you take the amount of moment about a point, let us say what are the clockwise moments and anti-clockwise moments, right? So if it is about this point A, F1 will not create any moment because as per your first moment theorem, and F4 also will not create any because it's also passing through the point, right? And F5 is also will not create any moment because it's also point to the same point A. Okay, line of action is same, right? Only the points which creates the moment is nothing but one is F2 and other one is F3. Okay, so what is the moment created by F2? So F2 into X. Okay, X is the distance between the force F2 and about the point here. So F2 into X, and what moment it creates? It creates a anti-clockwise moment. So it is creating a clockwise moment. So F2 into X. So this is nothing but F2 into X clockwise moment, right? And what is the other force? F3. F3 about this point it is creating about if you see the arrow direction upwards means it is creating anti-clockwise moment, right? So it is creating an anti-clockwise moment. It's nothing but F3 into Y. So Y is the distance. So F3 into Y. F3 into clockwise is F2 into X and is anti-clockwise F3 into Y. So if you that's what it is F2 into X minus F3 into Y. So F2 is equal to F2x is equal to F3y. Right. Moments of F1, F4, F5 but A is 0 because F5, yeah. So F1 is passing through this point A, F4 is also passing through this point A, and F5 also passing through the same line of action. Don't see that this take into consideration this thickness. Okay, so this is centrally shown, this is bottom shown. It is not like that. It's only the mistake of showing the arrow, but it is a body along this direction. It is passing through. A means always need not be a descent or descent. A means this is total. This point is nothing but A, right? Okay. So having very small thickness, if it is very large, the thickness is very large, then you have to consider this points also center or where, which point, where point it is acting. But it is a very small thickness. Of course, let us say there is a single small body, it's a very lesser thickness. Right? That's what it is. The sentence moments of F1, F2 is equal to 0. Right? Yeah, this one. If you see this problem, so it's we have to find out the P1 and P2. That's what the problem thing. A bar of length 3 meter carries a weight of 150 newtons at 2 meters from the left hand. What forces must be applied at each end to support the rod? Okay. That's not P1. We have to find out the two forces, unknown forces, P1 and P2. It is to be support and show as in figure. To be in body in equilibrium condition. So then the body shall be in equilibrium condition. Right. So your P1 plus P2 is one equation is nothing but upward forces is equal to downward forces. That is nothing but sigma V is equal to 0. Right. So P1 plus P2 is equal to 150. That is one condition. Right. Sum of upward forces is equal to sum of P1 plus P2. Taking the moments about all the forces about a point. About point. Yeah, let us take about this point here. And it is nothing but 150 into 2 is nothing but clockwise is equal to P2 into 3. P2 into 3 is equal to means 3P2 is equal to 150 into 2, 300. Right. That's what this is. Yeah. 150 into 2 is equal to P2 into 3. P2 is equal to 100 newtons. Substitute in first equation, we will get P1 is equal to 50 newtons. So, to be the body in equilibrium condition, the force P1 shall be equal to 50 newtons and P2 shall be equal to 100 newtons. As already know that it is just like a wrong direction. This is the problem. Obviously, the distances you have to be very much careful about. You have to calculate. Right. What is the P2? P2 is equal to 100. Yeah, right. As we are already know that is nothing but parallel, unlike parallel forces. And unlike parallel forces, what is our condition at last of the end of the equation? We have concluded nothing. X by y is equal to q by p. It's nothing but distances are inversely proportional to the magnitudes. Distances are inversely proportional to the magnitude. It's nothing but this. P2 is having higher force, and the resultant is this like a resultant, and the distance is 1 meter only. Okay, so P1 is lesser force, and the distance is more. That's nothing but inversely proportional. Okay, that's what this one. Okay, so this is about different equilibrium conditions, and we have discussed about like parallel forces. Sorry, unlike parallel result, finding the resultant of unlike parallel forces and the line of action. Very important is the line of action we have found it out. Okay, and also we discussed about the equilibrium condition, that is nothing but sigma h is equal to 0, sigma v is equal to 0, and sigma m is equal to 0. Means sum of the horizontal force is equal to 0, algebraic sum of horizontal force is equal to 0, algebraic sum of vertical force is equal to 0, algebraic sum of moments is equal to 0. That's what we have discussed in today's class, right? So let us stop here.